Let's get your top story. That's regarding the Electoral's bond case in the top court, with the Supreme Court there slamming the SBI, the State Bank of India, for not disclosing the full data when it comes to the electoral bonds. They're talking about the numbers. They have asked for the data to provide that unique number, to give the details, and those details need to be provided to the ESI lawyer. The Supreme Court there saying that they'd asked for all details to be given to the ESI. And the top court there questioning as to why were the electoral bond numbers not disclosed. So we have Sunil Prabhu joining us from right outside the Supreme Court. We also have Aishwarya joining us. Sunil, over to you first. When we talk about the electoral bond numbers, those were not submitted by the SBI to the Supreme Court. That number is what reveals the link between the donors and the political parties.
That's right. You needed to do a matching, a correlation, which everybody wanted at one level. But on the face of it, the Supreme Court had said to disclose all details. What is the all details? We must explain to our viewers. Every time a political, a corporate or any individual bought electoral bond, the case used to be that they would be given a unique alphanumeric number. So say a company A was buying a bond, it had got a unique alphanumeric number. It gave to a political party B. That political party would take it and go and redeem it in the State Bank of India in the designated branches across the country. But when they did that, they needed to also show the unique alphanumeric number so that the SBI could cross-check and see that that money was there. The Supreme Court today took exception to the fact that the State Bank of India has not disclosed it. And they said, but because they know that the SBI was not a party to the decision, the Solicitor General said, I'm not representing them. It's in that context that the Supreme Court, following the principles of natural justice, has waited till Monday, issued notice to them before they take that decision, unless, of course, they are able to come up with some explanation of why they can't disclose that. Because ultimately, even though, as we've been speaking from last night, once the bonds have been disclosed, it's a wealth of information, it's a data mine, and clearly shows, various acts in terms of how, various corporates have been given money, the linkages to government contracts, the quid pro quo on various other issues. So it's in that context that, political funding has become extremely transparent and accountable, and ultimately it's the people of this country to judge on this important aspect.
Right, Sunil, correct me if I'm wrong, but what was said by the Supreme Court when they had given them the deadline, they had said the matching exercise is not required because Hari Salve had said that, in order to complete the matching exercise, 3 weeks' time was needed. And that's when the court said that they don't need to be given that kind of time because they don't really need that matching exercise. So then why is it that this unique number is so important?
So that's the big question, that why isn't it there? And that's the reason why even the State Chief Justice of India asked, we are taking exception to this. But because they were not represented, the Solicitor General said, I'm not representing SBI, that they decided to issue notice to them to follow the principles of natural justice. The other aspect, from 2018 to 2019, they've asked the Supreme Court Registry to digitize, hand it over to the Election Commission by tomorrow, and make it public. So, every possible detail will be made open and public in terms of funding by political parties during the, last, from 2017 to date. So it's definitely in this aspect, we will be able to get, various details of how political parties have actually functioned in terms of where there was their source of funding, what were the reasons behind it, why did 95% of it were given to the ruling party. All those aspects will come under scrutiny.
Right. Sunil, let's just also listen into what Prashant Bhushan had to say.
The issue of the information submitted by the State Bank to the Election Commission about the particulars of the bonds, and they said that this information did not include the alphanumeric number of the bonds. So therefore they have not given full information about the people who purchased the bonds as well as the parties who redeemed the bonds, because that should have normally included the number.
So we have Aishwarya joining us. The SBI being asked, a lot of questions are being raised as far as the Supreme Court is concerned, asking as to why the unique number of the electoral bonds was not disclosed. Aishwarya, what is the explanation behind this?
Well, remember the argument made by Harish Salve in the last hearing. He said that, to match the data of the donors and the recipients, they need at least 3 months of time period, and they were asking for the extension. And certainly this is what in the next hearing, it would be the argument that, we wanted to match this data to bring out all the details furnished so that there could be more transparency and a clear picture can come out. We don't want it to not to circulate any mismatched data. Certainly now today, when the Supreme Court has asked that why didn't you disclose the unique identification number, the electoral bond, later the mismatching could happen. Certainly when these data will come out, we'll get to exactly know that which electoral bond was purchased for which number and which was given and which was redeemed ultimately by any political party. So the matching can happen at that particular stage when the numbers will come out. So more transparency will emerge and more clarification will come out as to who had purchased these electoral bonds and who had redeemed it later. After these information that will come out. Also, one very important thing that Supreme Court also stated as far as this application that was initially filed, that the sealed envelopes, the copies, Election Commission of India didn't have to, which the Supreme Court also very categorically mentioned that they will order their staff to digitalize the entire documents, and the digital version can be kept with the Supreme Court and the original copies can be sent back to the ECI so that they can have one copy as well. But important revelations could come out very soon as far as the directions by the Supreme Court is concerned, when these details will be revealed by the SBI to the Supreme Court, and when it will come out, we'll actually not know that who were these donors and what amount the political parties have redeemed after the information that is supposed to come out.